At ProAct, our core values are boiled down into 3 words: excellence, trust, and commitment. For over 2 decades, those ideals have been at the heart of our organization. More than something that we strive for, it's guided the decisions we make and been key to our shared success. Now, going on 25 years as an organization, we're taking a look back at where we came from to better appreciate where we are and where we're headed.
This thing started off as a share group headed by a wonderful fellow named Chandler Copps. And he brought us together. I think the first meeting was in Baltimore, and that's where the germ of this idea came about.
And that was a time with all of the buyouts, and you had a group here that that really at the time didn't have any interest in being bought out. So it was like, what can we do to remain independent, but we also have to be able to compete at the same time.
We got together, and Manny Costa, Jim Catchett, Phil Pashota, Powell Jones, Charlie.
Well, there was a natural synergy between the players there, although we were very different. But there was a commonality in that I think they're all forward thinkers, all people that at the forefront of their industry in their local marketplaces.
Back in the early days, our board meetings were held in a car on the way to dinner, because all 5 guys were in a car.
There was a bit of sacrifice in those days. Believe me, we were taking a lot of time away from our companies, doing this out of our own pockets, and we'd travel all over the country, and we were always on the phone with each other. So over the course of about a year and a half, I think we finally, the birth of this took place in Grand Haven, Michigan, our formal corporate birth, so to speak, and that's when ProAct came into being.
We kept talking about operations efficiency and identity afresh and where the market was going to go, but it always came down to one thing, and that is purchasing.
From that very first meeting, it developed into a discussion about putting together a buying office. And then that really took over the share group aspect of what we were doing.
One thing led to another, a few questions, and we decided to start a buying group. And that gave us the ability to remain independent, our individual flexibility in our markets, but now collectively we can buy lettuce and tomatoes and onions and potatoes like the big guys do.
And as soon as everybody said yes, the first thing we had to do was make a commitment on volume, and we had to come up with pro formas to be able to support a buying office.
Well, there was no handbook for this stuff, you know what I mean? There was no the forming the bylaws, how would it work financially, how would we set up the buying office, what would be our strategies.
So we all agreed, we all threw in our commitments, and then the rubber hit the road.
And I think everybody had to kind of push the envelope to get it up to that 8,000 cases initially a week, which now doesn't sound like a lot, but in those days it was quite a lot.
If we do this right, others will follow, and we would have a full-scale model of fresh distribution.
Establishing an office in Monterey led to relationships with grower-shipper partners that exist to this day. It wasn't long before the industry began taking notice of our collective power, and employees and owners began attending events as ProAct.
There was a PMA conference in Boston, and we decided that we rented a room in the Copley Plaza, and we would introduce ProAct to the grower-shipper community.
We had meetings solid with vendors, about an hour and a half each, in which we would talk with vendors.
We'd tell them about our program, what we're going to do, who we were and what we wanted to be, basically. It seemed like with every presentation, every grower-shipper, we'd start to embellish a little bit more about who we were. We'd tweak it. We weren't making the impression we thought we were. So, in the beginning, we'd say, well, we cover 12 states and we're going to do 5 million packages. I think we finished off at 26 states and 15 million packages. So, but it went well, and that was our real formal introduction to the industry.
If the vendors embrace us, then once again, the distributors will come and the customers will come right behind that. As the word got out, distribution centers wanted to join us.
The strategy is that we grew and we had a network that could service customers. You had to have the same experience in Florida that you had in Boston, that you had in Atlanta, that you had in LA. It had to be that level.
As our distribution network continued to expand, we saw an opportunity to attract national customers and manage their fresh produce business in a more centralized way. Our message was simple. With a national reach and a local touch, ProAct was able to bring a care and commitment to business that other national distribution companies couldn't match.
The ability for someone to manage their entire produce program, their specifications, their pricing coordinated, get the information flow that they need, have the food safety requirements that give them a liability shield should anything go wrong, and all the information, the recall systems and so forth, is the perfect solution. When we got Compass, it validated who we were. That was a customer that had 1,500 service locations across the country. The peer pressure was enormous to handle a customer program properly, because you just didn't mess it up for yourself, you messed it up for everybody, and nobody wanted to be the one that was messing it up for everybody.
They say that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. If that's the case, then the route that we've taken as an organization to get to the point where we are has not been short. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been without its struggles, but it's been worthwhile. Not just because of business growth, market share, revenue, expanded reach and effectiveness, but because of the growth of us as people, because of friendships and shared success.
These people aren't just business partners, but again, over this time together, the amount of time that we share together, and the intensity of that time that we share together, they become brothers. It's like family, a big band of brothers.
If someone had said to me, this is what ProAct is going to turn out to, I would have never believed them, that it would be this large, this multifaceted, this predominant in the industry, have the stature that it has. I would have never believed. I would have hoped for half of it, and I would have been delighted. It's gone so far beyond any of our hopes and dreams and aspirations that I couldn't have even fathomed it then.
Hey, I had a ball. It is time to give others an opportunity. It's not about an individual. It's not about anything other than a team effort.
In these past 25 years, ProAct has grown.
Not only in size and scope,
But in strength, maturity, and influence.
Our network is now known and respected nationally.
Just like each one of our companies are known and respected locally.
because of our commitment to our suppliers,
Customers, employees,
And each other.
this sets us apart.
ensuring success for years to come.
Thanks to all of you.
For making this vision a reality.
Happy 25th anniversary, ProAct. Here's to many more.